Now it's my pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker, Lieutenant General Tim Haugh, Commander of Joint Base San Antonio-Lackland. General Haugh serves as Commander of the 16th Air Force and Commander of Air Force's Cyber, responsible for more than 44,000 personnel conducting worldwide operations, including delivery of multi-source intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance products, applications, capabilities, and resources. This role includes his leadership of the Service Cryptologic Component, which covers the spectrum of missions related to tactical warfighting and national-level operations. He received his commission in 1991 as a distinguished graduate of the ROTC program at Lehigh University. The general has commanded the squadron, group, and wing levels, and served on staffs at a numbered Air Force, Major Command Headquarters, and Combatant Command Headquarters. Please welcome Lieutenant General Tim Haugh.
Welcome, everyone. I'm thrilled to be with you all here virtually as we take a moment to celebrate the students, parents, educators, and industry sponsors who are involved and make the CyberPatriot program such a huge success. And I'm very excited to recognize the top performing teams. Thanks to the CyberTexas Foundation for putting on such a great event, and to Mr. Joe Sanchez, whose vision to create CyberTexas has really paid dividends to develop and promote cybersecurity programs statewide. Also, thanks to AFA CyberPatriot and to the schools and educators who partner with CyberPatriot. And finally, we want to thank Mayor Nuremberg and the City of San Antonio. Your support and investment in cyber recruitment and education continues to yield exponential returns to the community and beyond. Between UTSA, the Alamo chapter of AFCEA, and countless other local sponsors and contributors, we couldn't be more pleased with the local partnerships we have here in San Antonio. As the second largest concentration of cybersecurity professionals in the United States, this truly is Cyber City, USA. We as Air Force's Cyber are so proud to call San Antonio home. Events like this really highlight how fortunate we are, especially because of the incredible talent on display. So today, I'd just like to spend a few minutes to consider some of the work you have done and how it relates to the current cyber threats we are facing as a nation. And after that, I'll respond to some great questions that you all submitted. No matter what your goals are for the future, you are putting in the hard work now to become the cyber experts our nation needs to remain competitive on a global stage. And your skills are directly applicable to the current threats we face. I was able to take a look at some of the scenarios you were presented with, and I have to say they are really similar to situations we've recently seen within the national cybersecurity operational sphere. The cybersecurity industry categorizes the most dangerous cyber threat actors as Advanced Persistent Threat, or APT groups. APTs are hackers who typically receive support from nation states for targets that typically include data theft, intelligence collection, disruption, and destruction of data. These attacks are carefully planned and designed to infiltrate a particular organization, bypass existing security measures, and operate under the radar. Looking at the types of problems you all addressed during the competition, these are exactly the strategies and actions needed to defend against threats like adversary persistent threat actors. During your regional rounds, you performed as blue teams to harden vulnerable services, secure and configure networking devices, and verify and optimize group policy. This type of work is critical to ensuring networks are optimized for defense against intrusion. And we've seen plenty of recent examples of threat actors gaining access through a variety of vulnerabilities. Last summer, the National Security Agency endorsed an advisory memo released by the British National Cybersecurity Center, which reported that Russian advanced persistent threat actor Cozy Bear was caught stealing COVID-19 vaccine research data from the United States, the UK, and Canada. The group conducted basic vulnerability scanning against specific external IP addresses owned by vaccine research organizations. They then deployed exploits against the vulnerable services identified. Once they had gained access, they acquired legitimate credentials to the compromised systems in order to maintain persistent long-term access. Just last week, Microsoft reported that another advanced persistent threat actor had exploited a vulnerability in Outlook web access to gain access to hundreds of thousands of Exchange servers. And while not attributed to a foreign threat actor, the story of a hacker gaining access to a municipal water treatment plant near Tampa, Florida, using remote desktop software underscores the criticality of understanding and securing access points into a network, especially for public utilities, which, as we've seen with Winter Storm Uri, are so critical for our daily lives. Your scenarios also included actions to perform operating system forensics and optimize system logging and auditing. Clearly, it is important for cybersecurity professionals to understand operating systems and network activity. Sometimes vulnerabilities are unknown, and we only discover them on a zero-day event. The most stark recent example was, of course, the supply chain attack on SolarWinds Orion business software, which impacted an estimated 18,000 SolarWinds clients. The sophisticated attack used the Trojanized software updates to distribute Sunburst malware, enabling access to signing certificates that allowed them to impersonate users and ultimately steal critical data. Detecting these intrusive activities is difficult, but absolutely critical to ensuring continued defense of our most important national security sectors. The foundational work you all demonstrated during your blue team defensive scenarios is critical to detecting these types of attacks. Within U.S. Cyber Command, we conduct similar activities in conjunction with partner nations to assist them in identifying vulnerabilities. We deploy airmen to locations across Europe and Asia to spend time with that local nation, getting to know their networks and understanding the information terrain in areas that face a litany of cyber threats. Our teams connect to the partner networks and hunt for adversary activity, ultimately detecting and exposing malign cyber threats. This takes skill and patience, but it's essential to assuring a global cyber norms are maintained, and it's the type of activity you all are clearly demonstrating expertise in here. You were also assigned to solve cryptography and stenography problem sets. Cryptographic algorithms are hugely vital to the security of our most sensitive systems, and we are actively working across the government to modernize our cryptographic techniques that protect our most advanced computing capabilities from the threat of adversary quantum computing. Your early work on these types of problems puts you in a unique place to leverage those skills in the future, ultimately ensuring our most critical systems are protected against adversary exploitation. So it's very clear to me that the things you are doing here with CyberPatriot are preparing you to make a difference for the nation. I always enjoy participating in the Mayor's Cup Cyber Awards because it's so encouraging to see your talents on display. You are all important to the future security of our nation, and we need you on the team as we take the fight to our adversaries in cyberspace. Ultimately, the best way for us to leverage our incoming cyber airmen is giving them cutting-edge tools and unleashing them to counter our adversaries' ability to do harm to our nation. And it's something only the men and women of the Cyber Mission Force are permitted to do. Nowhere else do young cyber professionals get the chance to engage in these type of cyber operations in the real world, and at a scale that impacts our national strategy. It's also a team effort. Every day, our airmen work with partners in the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, the National Security Agency, the Central Intelligence Agency, and others that provide excellent networking opportunities and entry points into our intelligence community relationships. The opportunities open to you through cyberspace expertise are unlimited. I cannot wait to see what you accomplish, and I have no doubt that each and every one of you is destined for greatness. Your unwavering commitment and dedication to learning and tackling hard problems is invaluable. To the students and Cyber Cup competitors here, you are our nation's true competitive advantage. You represent the future success of our nation in cyberspace, and we want you on our team. The organizational symbol of 16th Air Force and Air Force's Cyber is the Phoenix. And so we invite you to rise up and lift up with us as we continue to partner with the great work that we've begun. Thank you all. I'm really interested in answering all of your questions.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Haugh. Sir, the participants from this year's teams in San Antonio were asked to submit questions to you. We have 10 questions, and I'll now cover these questions with you. First question asks, what is needed of a student out of high school to be successful in the cybersecurity field?
So I'll quote my favorite TV show, Ted Lasso. and that's to be curious. It's about really every day trying to learn something new. And if you're going to be involved in cyberspace, there's so many opportunities to go down any different number of paths and be curious and follow what really interests you and what you're passionate about. So I think curiosity is one of the most important things. If there's something that doesn't feel right on a system or on a network or within data, let's answer that question. Let's make sure that data has integrity, that it's our system, it's secure, and that we don't have a concern with that software, that capability. It takes curiosity and really individuals that want to continue to learn.
Second question asks, why would a student graduating choose going into the Air Force instead of going to college for a career in cybersecurity?
So I think it's down to every individual and what their goals are and where they are in their own lives as to which opportunity makes sense for them. We have airmen that actually pursue both paths, which that they come in the United States Air Force, they get really some incredible training on cybersecurity or cyberspace operations, and at the same time, they're accruing credit so that they can then get a degree and then either become an officer or can move to somewhere within industry to use their skills and their degree and do so without having accrued a lot of debt. So it comes down to the individual and what they're interested in. Do they want to go to college now? We can also talk about programs from a service perspective or the Department of Defense or within some of our civilian counterparts within the federal government that are looking for cybersecurity, want to invest in people that have the talent to get a degree and then come work for the government. So either path can lead you to your goals. It comes down to your individual circumstance. We've seen people be immensely successful in either path, and it really comes down to what you want to do and when you want to do it.
The next question is related to that, which asks, which degree do you think is better suited for a cyber operator? One in cybersecurity or one in computer science?
I think both are fantastic. We need hundreds of thousands of young people to get degrees in both. And I think it's really what your interests are, because that's really where you're going to get your maximum success, or those things that you're really interested in pursuing, and which degree allows you to go deeper into those areas that you're most interested in. Depending on what role you want to play, we have seen individuals, if they want to develop cyber capability, a computer science degree gives them more opportunity to go in depth on how you build capabilities or build systems versus defend them and understand the vulnerabilities of data. There are a couple things that are common across both that would be skill sets that I'd encourage for everybody. One of those is the ability to program in a language, not a particular language, but the ability to understand how to program and how that works. The other is really thinking through data. The future of much of this is going to be around some elements of data science and understanding how to use data, whether that's cybersecurity data or ensuring the integrity of the systems that the data or those systems are processing, are going to be common themes of areas that our nation's going to need, whether it's in commercial industry or whether it's in the government or in the military. Those sets of skills are just invaluable. Follow which thing you're most interested in, and when you go to your university, there's nothing that's holding you back from then pivoting to an either path once you start to take one of the courses that go deeper into areas that you're interested in.
Question 4. For those joining the Air Force, is it possible to transfer CyberPatriot skills for Air Force credit towards cyber-related jobs in the Air Force? How can CyberPatriot participants transfer their skills to Air Force cyber-related jobs?
So as I've just talked about in terms of the things that you're doing today are directly applicable to the things that we're asking airmen to do every day. So in terms of a building block of skills, what CyberPatriot is doing is giving you a leg up if that's an area that you want to pursue in the United States Air Force or in another military service, because you're already doing some of those activities. So I think those skills are directly applicable in whether you choose to go down a path of becoming a cybersecurity professional in industry and getting certifications, or going to school, getting a degree, or coming in the military and using those skills. I think they're all directly applicable.
So our next question asks, Where would cybersecurity professionals in the Air Force actually be stationed in jobs involving cybersecurity during a time of war?
So for us, we have airmen around the globe today, and what we've done is we run our networks through a central nodes primarily in the United States, but we do have units stationed overseas. And when we go into an area of hostilities, we take a small element of cyber professionals that'll be a part of creating a network there and also defending that network. But if we look at kind of the totality of how we're positioned, is that the bulk of our cyber resources are at our large fixed garrison locations, and then we extend our networks and our security from those locations. So we operate from our current location, regardless of the type of conflict we're in, with very small elements that we push forward to make sure that we can create a network and defend it wherever we need to around the globe.
Next question asks, are there plans to expand the cyber capabilities of 16th Air Force and Air Force's cyber? If so, how?
So we created 16th Air Force about a year and a half ago, and that was one effort for our Air Force to create more capabilities inside of cyberspace and in the information environment. And that has really been a part of what we do every day as 16th Air Force, is grow those capabilities. Part of it is how we are now able to use our talent. The other is the ability for us to partner with the elements of 16th Air Force that also do intelligence. So we're combining our intelligence and our cyber capabilities to be more effective to do the things that our nation is asking us to do.
What initiatives are being created to create a cybersecurity workforce consisting of blue and red team individuals that know both sides?
So whoever asked that question is really thinking about the right things, which is how you defend and how you identify vulnerabilities. Those things are really collaborative. So as part of our cyber protection teams, which are teams of about 40 individuals that we deploy to defend areas or defend systems, those groups of airmen are built to do just that. So they're really built as a protection team, so they can do defensive activities, they can hunt for adversaries. But another part of that team is responsible for emulating the adversary. So they have to be able to test the network, to be able to test the defenses using adversary similar capabilities, while the other part of the team is also building out its defenses at the same time. So we're building that inherent in all of our teams that do that function to be able to think about blue and red.
The next question asks, what did you have to go through to become an Air Force commander?
So that's an exciting part of being in the military, is we start out, regardless of whether you are enlisted or an officer, is that you have to learn your whatever role you play in the service, whether you're a cyber officer, an intelligence officer, a pilot, whether you're a maintenance technician. Your first years are about building your technical skill in the area that you're assigned. And as you do that, as you get more comfortable in your technical skill, then you're given more leadership responsibility. And that can be as a non-commissioned officer, or that could be an officer now growing and becoming a flight commander to then becoming a unit commander, which in the Air Force is a squadron, in the Army that's a battalion. And as we do that, at each step you get evaluated. Are you good at the core function that you play, whether that's cyber or intel, or whether you fly an aircraft? Are you good at that function, and are you good at leading people that are within that area of responsibility? And if you do that, you're going to continue to be given more additional responsibility as you go forward. And that's a cool part of being a part of a meritocracy that's evaluating you on your performance. And we're proud of that as to how we execute that within the United States Air Force, that people are given more responsibility based on not only how they perform, but how they treat people, and create an environment of dignity and respect that we want for every one of our airmen and every one of our citizens.
The next question is related, which asks, what is your favorite part of being a commander?
Favorite part of being a commander is watching people succeed. When you are able to allow an airman, you give them something where they say, hey, we think we can do this really hard, difficult thing. And then when you watch them go do it, because they've been empowered and they've been allowed to solve that hard problem and take some risk, it's fantastic to watch what success occurs. So the ability to enable that is just really powerful and exciting. And the ability to do that while enabling somebody to be successful and allowing them to be successful on problems that are really important to our nation just brings you a great sense of pride in everything that we do.
So the last question asks, what cybersecurity event or scenario keeps you awake at night? And what can CyberPatriot members across the country do to help mitigate or prevent it?
So I do have the benefit that there's nothing that keeps me up at night, because I know that there are airmen on watch every single day defending our network 24/7. And we trust those airmen that we empower that are operating at midnight to make decisions on our behalf that would be things that would defend our network, defend our ability to do the things that the President and the Secretary of Defense would ask us to do. So I never have a problem sleeping worrying about a cybersecurity threat, because I know we have great airmen that are on the watch every single day taking care of that. What you can do is keep doing what you're doing. Is passion for cyber and cybersecurity is important to our nation. It's important for our nation's defense. It's important for our nation's economy. And I think we see that every single day in terms of what it looked like. For all of us that were in San Antonio a few weeks ago, and our ability to operate, connect, and communicate, it's certainly essential to every part of every individual well-being at this point. But it's also what's generating our economy. It's generating jobs. It's generating, really, for us, the ability to do connect with each other in ways that probably were never foreseen and possible. That needs professionals that know how to build capability, but also to recognize how to defend that in ways that there will be nations and there will be individuals that try to take advantage of that for their own personal gain. I'm excited that you're interested in this area. Our nation needs hundreds of thousands of cyber professionals, and starting where you are today puts you in a position that gives you a lot of flexibility to pursue what you're passionate about and then be able to execute it.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant General Haugh, for addressing these great questions. I'll now turn it back over to you for closing comments.
So thanks again to the leaders that made this day possible, for every teacher, every volunteer that was with each of these teams. We're really proud to be a part of it, and we're thrilled with the participation in each of these events as they build across the country. The San Antonio Mayor's Cup is just an awesome example of the talent in San Antonio and in Cyber City, USA. Proud to be a part of it. Congratulations to all the teams. Thanks for your participation.